Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for joining the 34th annual and first ever virtual Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Awards Program. My name is Pam Moore. I anchor the KRON 4 evening newscast here in the Bay Area. I'm so happy to be with you, and the Lawyers Committee is so happy that you are joining us. Thank you for showing up to support this cause as we celebrate all of the contributions of pro bono legal partners, clients, corporate and community partners, and individual supporters of the Lawyers Committee. I've been happy to be a part of this event for many years, and going virtual does not change that. I'm happy to welcome all of you, and I continue to be proud of the work of the Lawyers Committee. Even through these challenging times, this organization is resilient in its mission, and especially now with the exceptional need over the past year. In the face of the pandemic and its disproportionate effect on communities of color, protests against racial violence after the murder of George Floyd, the assaults on immigrants, and the failures of the immigration system, the work of this organization and its coalitions is essential to the fight for equality under law. As we celebrate the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights tonight, we are also in the midst, of course, of Black History Month. The Lawyers Committee encourages everybody to use this month as an opportunity to broaden your appreciation of Black people and cultures and their contributions to American life. If the last year has taught us anything, it is that we need to deepen our understanding of the deep roots of racism and its effects. As always during this event, the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights lifts up the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Sadly, much of what we are seeing today would look all too familiar to Dr. King. The ongoing struggle for fairness before the law, violent policing, angry white supremacist mobs trying to overrun our democratic institutions, the continued effort to deprive Americans of the right to vote, a pandemic that has hit Black and brown and poor people the hardest. 50-plus years after his death, his life and his work still teach us all that we rise and we fall together. The Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights uses this occasion to honor Dr. King because his mission is its mission, the fight in solidarity with those who have been oppressed, the fight for racial justice, justice for immigrants, economic justice, justice. Much appreciation tonight to all of those on the front line working for and with the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights. Tonight we will be channeling Dr. King's spirit. He reminded us, here's one of his quotes, "Change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but comes through continuous struggle. And so we must straighten our backs and work for our freedoms." This evening, you will be inspired by remarks from Dr. Ibram X. Kendi. His scholarship and activism have furthered anti-racism and expanded the movement for Black lives globally. He is tonight's Special Visionary Award recipient, honoring his contributions to the fight for civil rights and for social justice. And on your screen, you will see a call to action. Please text FELLOW to 44321. and contribute what you can tonight to support the great work of the Lawyers Committee. We also encourage you to tweet using the hashtag MLK2021. For 34 years, this MLK event has started with the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. So, wherever you are, if you can, please stand for the anthem, performed by the talented students from the Oakland School of the Arts. With the pandemic, of course, it's not possible to bring the students together, but we can enjoy their performance from last year's event.
Lift every voice and sing.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Patrick Thompson. I'm a partner at Perkins Coie in San Francisco, and I'm also honored to be board chair of this extraordinary organization. It's a unique and remarkable moment in our history. Last year, when we gathered together in a ballroom, we thought this year, 2020, will present challenges of an uncertain election. Little did we know or anticipate that 2020 would include a pandemic, an economic recession, racial uprisings, and an unprecedented and unexpected attack on the peaceful transition of the seat of the presidency. But at this moment, we can pause and celebrate some of our successes. One of the things that was unexpected is that one of our own former co-chairs, Kamala Harris, would be Vice President of the United States. Tonight, we gather together to celebrate all of those who come together to deliver on our mission of racial, economic, and immigrant justice in our communities. Tonight, we're going to focus and highlight and celebrate the contributions of our sponsors, partners, volunteers, and staff in helping us focus locally on issues that have such potential impact and import globally. In thinking about who we are and where we are today, we get this opportunity to really reflect and celebrate all of the people who come together to make this happen and to breathe life into our mission. First, I want to thank all of our sponsors for helping make this evening possible. In particular, I want to extend a very warm welcome and special thank you to our Honorary Circle sponsors. Your generosity will go a long way toward making sure we continue this important work. Please check out the digital program this evening to see our sponsors who made tonight's event such a success. I would also like to recognize Dr. Ibram X. Kendi, our Visionary Award honoree tonight. Thank you, Dr. Kendi, for your leadership on behalf of all of our communities. I want to thank as well our coalition partners who join us in direct service, policy advocacy, and impact litigation alongside low-income communities, communities of color, immigrants, and refugees. I want to thank our pro bono volunteers and recognize them who stand resolutely with us to serve clients in providing quality legal services in precedent-setting litigation. Lawyers Committee is a unique organization in bringing together core volunteers to serve the needs of actual clients. Each year, Lawyers Committee mobilizes over 1,000 pro bono attorneys, and we thank you for being part of this movement for good and your commitment to civil rights. I want to thank my fellow board members. If we were in person, I'd ask them all to stand. I thank you for your commitment and your contribution to all that we do, and I'm honored and humbled to be serving as your board chair. I also want to thank everybody who came before us, former staff, board members, fellows, and other volunteers. We walk and rise on the back of your shoulders and all that you have built, and we could not be where we are without everything that you've contributed to make this organization great and what we're able to do in our community. We also want to thank our clients. Our clients have approached issues with great courage, and we appreciate the confidence you repose in us to help you with your problems, which help us do the great work that we do. Lastly, but not least, I want to thank our staff and the fellows of the Lawyers Committee for your hard work and your dedication and your commitment to the mission of this organization. This is a really resilient group. Over the last year, we've talked a lot about frontline workers. These are our frontline workers facing the trauma of those who are most aggrieved by the pandemic, economic inequality, and racial injustice. They have banded together in remarkable ways to ensure that this organization remains committed, and they have weathered the various storms that we have faced, and they have emerged victorious in many of the battles that they have fought over the past year. This organization is stronger because of them, and we are in a far better position because of the flexibility that they have used in adapting to a very rapidly changing landscape. They've done all this maintaining a commitment to our clients and to our mission, and they've done so with compassion and empathy. And for that, we are enormously appreciative and have tremendous gratitude. Now, a lot of you might think that this is the time to pause and our work is done. It's not. Our work is not complete. That's why tonight we gathered together and we are trying to raise funds not just for this moment, but also for the future. Over the course of the evening, you'll have an opportunity to contribute more. We're appreciative of everything that you've done, and you'll have an opportunity to contribute tonight to the Thurgood Marshall Fellowship. That is a fellowship that's been part of the lifeblood of this organization. It gives an opportunity to look to the future of civil rights, and you can learn more about that in your program. And we have on deck our chair-elect, Kari Tillery, who is also a former Thurgood Marshall Fellow, as well as Mark Conley-Booksy, our development director. Thank you very much for everything that you do for the Lawyers Committee of Civil Rights, for our clients, and for the cause for which we stand.
Hi everyone. Since it was launched in 1993 with our first fellow Van Jones, there's been a long tradition of this event and this community coming together to raise funds for the annual Thurgood Marshall Fellowship. We're very lucky to have former fellow and partner at Kecker Van Nest and Peters, Kari Tillery, serving on our board as chair-elect. Kari agreed to sit down with me tonight to chat for a minute about what the fellowship means. Welcome, Kari, and thank you so much for doing this with us.
You're welcome. Hi, everybody.
Kari, for those of us like me who are not legal professionals, can you tell us a little bit about what a legal fellowship is and what legal fellows do?
Sure. The simple answer is they support the mission of the organization. They do the work of the organization. In the case of the Lawyers Committee, they will work on the core mandates of the organization: race, poverty, and immigration. Typically, a fellow will have a specific project that they are designated to work on, but they do the work of the organization.
Amazing. And so beyond sort of the term of the fellowship, what are kind of the long-term impacts of a fellowship like this, and in what ways has it shaped your career path?
Sure. I think there are a few. First and foremost, you get to learn from some of the best civil rights lawyers in the country, and you get great mentorship. In terms of the long-term effect, having the Lawyers Committee on your resume is great in terms of other job opportunities, whether they be in a public interest organization or at a law firm or in-house at a corporation. But one of the things that I think is common to all fellows is that working at the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights for a year really instills in you the real-world practical effects and impact of the work the organization does. And I know, speaking for myself, I've had a connection to the Lawyers Committee for my entire career, from being a law student intern when I was in law school to now being on the board of directors and continuing to offer pro bono services to the organization. So it is the positive effects of supporting this fellowship tend to compound over time, because you are developing this group of lawyers who will go forward and do good work and give back to the Lawyers Committee.
It's amazing. And you talked a little bit about specific projects. Could you give an example?
Sure. Our current fellow, Tiffany Rezel Moyer, is working on issues that are really important right now, including reimagining public safety, defunding the police, and addressing the racist policing around the George Floyd protests last summer. And this is timely, it's critical. And without having a fellow to do that work, it would be more difficult to get it done.
Great. And finally, what would you say to someone who might be considering a donation?
You should absolutely do it. You'll feel better about yourself. You'll be doing something good for the community. You will be supporting a young lawyer who is going to do fabulous work at the Lawyers Committee. You're supporting the Lawyers Committee's core mission. You wouldn't be here tonight if you didn't already support the work. So, pull out your credit cards and your checkbooks and make those donations. And more than that, you will be supporting a young lawyer who is, again, going to go out into the world and do good and give back to the Lawyers Committee. You may be able to say, hey, I supported the next Van Jones.
Corey, we're so grateful to have you in the community and that you continue to give back. And we're just so proud that we've had now 17 fellows. So we do hope that folks will continue to support as able. Folks can text fellow to 44321 or donate on our website. And we do have great news. We have a matching challenge tonight from a very generous former board member and current continuing pro bono leader, Jack London at Morrison & Forrester. And Jack is actually offering to match up to $5,000 of donations. So we really hope that folks will take him up on his generosity. So I just want to kind of wrap up and say we really do value everyone's contributions to this movement, whether it's financial or non-financial. And we just thank everybody for participating tonight, and especially to you, Kari, for your service on the board and continuing to be so involved.
Happy to be here, and time to make those donations.
Thank you, Kari.
Thank you, Mark and Kari. The Thurgood Marshall Fellowship has certainly been a force for good and has been a catalyst for so many inspiring and aspiring civil rights attorneys advancing the struggle for equality under the law. We hope that everyone with us this evening will donate by texting fellow to 44321. And now it is my pleasure to introduce an artist whose music conveys the struggle, the hope, the passion of our time. Goapele is a radiant singer whose unique musical voice has influenced the R&B genre, while her activist voice has called for justice and prison reform, reached out to communities about public health and social justice issues. The Lawyers Committee is so pleased that she has prepared for tonight's event this special performance of Stand. Enjoy Goapele.
Hi, it's an honor to be here with you virtually this evening as we celebrate people who stand up every day to uplift our communities. This song is called Stand. Yeah, yeah. Catch me if you can understand. It's a new day. Life is real, but we still gotta get paid. Take it back to the simple things, like love and laughter, not the flash and fame. Stand up to a man, yes, I can take my place. Don't let that just play fool you. Just put your picture in a frame. It's time to step into this double Dutch game. Just stand up for something. Don't fall back for nothing. If we don't stand for something, we'll fall for anything. Oh, yeah. 'Cause life is passing by and it's not gonna sit right when you witness the truth, but then believe the lies. But I'm a mama, freedom fighter, I'm a queen. If I don't speak up, then tell me what it means. Justice keeps on fading away. Greed and fear keep on making mistakes. It's police against the citizens, the troops against the youth. In war, the murder's legal. Tell me what we're gonna do. Oh, Thank you.
Good evening. Honored to be in virtual community with you. My name is Elika Vafai, and I'm the Director of Pro Bono at LCCRSF. I'm so pleased to present our 2021 award recipients. Thank you to all of our recipients and to so many of you who are tuned in for your incredible and innovative community and pro bono work as we face the pandemic and ongoing struggle for civil rights. The Anthony F. Logan Award recognizes outstanding contributions by a community partner to public interest law and client communities. The 2021 award goes to the Anti-Police Terror Project, with special recognition of Kat Brooks, Asantwa Boykin, Rebecca Ruiz, and Daniela Kantarova. The Anti-Police Terror Project's extraordinary work is transforming safety, justice, and health across California. Their groundbreaking programs, such as Mental Health First, and their strategic initiatives to defund Oakland police drive material change in Black and Brown communities. We all have a role to play in eradicating police brutality, state-sanctioned violence, and white supremacy, and we're honored to recognize and follow the leadership of the Anti-Police Terror Project. Thank you to the entire APTP team. The Father Cucullin Moriarty Award recognizes outstanding pro bono legal services to advance immigrant justice. The 2021 award goes to LLP with the special recognition of Marty Schenker. We recognize Cooley's significant contributions as co-counsel in Zepeda Rivas v. Jennings, a class action challenging the detention of immigrants at 2 California detention centers where COVID-19 has spread rapidly and unchecked by ICE. Their life-saving work has led to hundreds of immigrants being released from detention. The Cooley team stepped in immediately as co-counsel critical and fast-paced litigation. We called them on a Friday, and by the next day, an entire co-counsel team was assembled. Marty Schenker has been a committed and extraordinary pro bono partner in this litigation, and we thank the entire Cooley team. The Robert G. Sproul Award goes to ending pro bono work to advance civil rights of underrepresented communities. The 2021 award goes to Kecker, Van Ness, and Peters and their entire pro bono team, and we uplift the leadership of Travis Silva, who, by the way, is a former LCCRSF Thurgood Marshall Fellow. Kecker has been instrumental in our efforts litigation challenging predatory bail bond practices that target communities of color. We also knew that we could turn to Kecker on our impact work to hold the federal government accountable for its horrific family separation policies. Kecker is a true pro bono leader on impact matters driving systemic change, and we thank the entire Kecker pro bono team. The Robert A. Thompson Award goes to an attorney who's advanced the marginalized community's rights by assisting low-income real estate clients. The 2021 award goes to Perkins Coie and Barbara Schussman. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, Perkins Coie has worked with LCCRSF to respond to the urgent needs of small businesses and providing pro bono legal support in navigating commercial lease. Through their innovative pro bono model, we were able to ensure that many small businesses could keep their. Thank you to the entire Perkins Coie pro bono team. And next, we will share our 2021 MLK Gala video highlighting this year's work.
"2020 was unprecedented. And yet, everything that we have done for over 50 years prepared us for this moment.
This pandemic was not an equal opportunity pandemic.
Within the first 2 weeks, we had a 300% increase in requests for legal services from small businesses.
Our team went into 2020 knowing that we were going to spend the year fighting against immigration detention. What we didn't expect was that a pandemic would hit that turned immigration detention into a very real possible death sentence.
People were sleeping in a situation where they could literally reach out and touch the person in the bunk next to them. At meals, they were elbow to elbow.
We witnessed what the New York Times is calling the biggest movement in the United States history, the Black Lives Matter movement.
There's always rage, right? There's always anger, there's always sadness at loss of life. But I come to this work from they're the rule, not the exception. We just happened to get George Floyd on camera.
The Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights of the San Francisco Bay Area is one of the oldest civil rights organizations on the West Coast. We exist to dismantle systems of oppression and white supremacy and racism.
With this program, because it was all remote, we were able to have 27 different lawyers doing 1-hour consultations, and they were able to do it quickly whenever the need arose. Some of these clients were in a position where their lease was about to expire. They needed help right away.
For me, that's really the model of an ideal pro bono partnership where we can innovate and meet community demands together.
This small business owner who ran a donut shop in the Tenderloin was already struggling. COVID hit with the shelter-in-place orders, and the business largely had to shut down. And Louise and Mesa counseled the client, talked directly to the landlord, and with a lot of patience and some documentation, they were able to convince the landlord to give some rent relief and extend the time for payments on the rent.
When we are providing legal services to small businesses, particularly businesses owned by communities of color and people of color, we're effectively narrowing the racial wealth gap because we're supporting building wealth back up in communities where wealth has been stripped away by systemic racism.
And here they were actually being able to sell the donuts to people with a long line outside the business.
No one, regardless of their criminal history, regardless of their medical vulnerability, should be subjected to a death sentence in civil detention.
Our main goal was to depopulate the facilities that would then enable social distancing.
This is a case that involved incredibly aggressive discovery. And what those documents showed was that ICE knew exactly what it needed to do to protect people from the pandemic, and that it refused to do so because taking even the most basic safety precautions would impede on the logistics of detaining as many people as possible at any time possible. Without Cooley's support and expertise, we just would not have been able to get our arms around that information.
The judge actually described ICE's conduct as appalling, and appalling it was. They really did nothing to protect the detainee population who are in their care from the risk of COVID coming into the facility. And today, the population of the facilities is down to about 10% of their original capacity. We have weekly testing of staff and detainees, and the judge also stopped any new intakes.
Bad Boys Bail Bonds open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call 1-800-BAIL-OUT.
Bad Boys has a history of signing agreements with people who are trying to get their loved ones out of jail and not complying with the law. And so Bad Boys needs to stop harassing people for debt that they have under these agreements that isn't enforceable. Our named plaintiff, Kira Caldwell, she had experiences with Bad Boys calling her workplace and reporting to people that she worked with that she owed money on a bail bond, money that's not enforceable and that she doesn't owe under California law. They called her mother at her home number, and they harassed her mother until her mother had to change her phone number.
Partnering with Lawyers Committee, we were able to file a class action that challenges not just this one individual's or tries to vindicate this one individual's rights, but also really tries to take the bail industry to task.
For-profit entities like Bad Boys, corporations whose interest is in maximizing their profits and not in serving the public, are wrapped up in people's ability to get their freedom and to get justice.
We at Kecker are always very excited when Lawyers Committee reaches out to us to ask if we might be interested in collaborating on a case, because we know that Lawyers Committee is going to give us an opportunity to really make a change.
LCCRSF chose the Anti-Police Terror Project to be rewarded because this organization is both revolutionary and absolutely essential for the moment that we're living in.
We wanted to be not just reactionary, but also visionary around how we interrupted state-sponsored violence in our communities. And so that started a conversation around, well, where are all of the places where law enforcement is entangled inside of our communities where they don't need to be? And how much of our dollars are going to fund that instead of funding things that actually keep us safe?
So when the call to action came following George Floyd's death to defund the police, one of the biggest criticisms was exactly how and what are our communities going to look like without police presence there?
Mental Health First is a non-911 response program for mental health crisis. We launched in Oakland in August, and that's been really incredible. We weren't ready actually for the response to that across the board. There are surrounding cities in the Bay Area that want to bring mental health first. We're getting phone calls from all over the country from folks about how do we do this. These alternative models, they start in small replicable ways, but then they grow, and they grow until they become the norm. And we see less and less utility for this thing that we've been using that was born out of the slave trade and has engaged in horrific, rampant violence in our communities for 400 years. And we can replace it with something much more humane.
And we really look to them to make sure that the way that we're moving as a legal organization is in line with the work that they have done and in the work that the communities they work with are looking to do.
If we've learned anything in the last year is that we don't know what's coming. What we do know is that we are prepared, and we know that we are not alone in this work.
Find an opportunity to work with the Lawyers Committee. They're great lawyers, they're collaborative, and the work that you're going to do is going to be so meaningful. It was one of the highlights of my pretty long career at this point, and I guarantee you it'll be the same for you.
It's some of the most rewarding work we can do. You're actually, yourself so uplifted by this work that it really is helping all of us get through this crisis as well.
As we do things, say for instance here in the state of California, where we changed the use of force policy for the first time in 150 years, right? When those new laws get violated, it's y'all that we turn to.
We, our team of co-counsel, set up a Zoom call with our initial class representatives after all of them had been released and were home with their families. It was so moving because when we had first sort of, met them over the phone, they were trapped, and the image of all of their faces in their homes, like every Zoom call with like kids running up to them, is definitely something that just makes me want to keep fighting.
The world that I'm fighting for is one in which everybody has equal access to joy. And what that really means is making sure that people have enough power, both individually and collectively, to ask for and access the things that they need to survive and thrive in their communities.
For over 50 years, we have worked to dismantle systems of racism brick by brick. I hope you'll continue on this journey with us towards racial justice, economic justice, and immigrant justice by donating your time and your resources and your hearts to this work.
And I'm now thrilled and honored to present this year's awardees.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay, thank you.
This song is called Power. I hope you remember how powerful you are always and never dim your light for anyone. Great is sun. Power, just be who you are. Free, it's bright as the sun. Power, just be who you are. Free, oh, yeah. Just be who you are. Free, you are. As bright as the sun. Just be who you are. Free, sweetest feeling in my soul. When your eyes shine out gold, never lose your wings of joy. As life unfolds, hold you near me when you're cold. Keep you warm. You know I wanna do right by you. You've always done right by me. Yeah, yeah. As bright as the sun. Power, just be who you are. Free, as bright as the sun. Power, just be who you are. Free, wherever you go. Power, just be who you are. Free, as bright as the sun. Yeah, free, wherever you are. Know this love's unconditional. Wherever you're led, this love. There's no limit to where you could go. And wherever you go, I want you to know this love's unconditional. Yeah, yeah. As bright as the sun. Power, just be who you are. Free, as bright as the sun. Power, just be who you are. Free, oh, power, just be who you are. Free, yeah, you know you're as bright as the sun. Be free, yeah. This love's unconditional. Yeah, this love's unconditional. Thank you.
Wow, Guapale. Thank you all for being here and joining us tonight. Special thanks to Guapale, that was just beautiful. Thank you to Dr. Kendi, the Oakland School of the Arts Youth Choir, the Anti-Police Terror Project, and our pro bono awardees. Thank you for sharing your talent, your expertise, and your presence here with us this evening. Thank you to our community partners. Nothing we do is possible without you. Welcome to the officials that are here with us tonight. Chief Justice Kantil Sakaue, Assemblymember David Chu, who is also a former Lawyers Committee staff attorney, California State Superintendent Tony Thurmond, Mayor Libby Schaaf, Senator Scott Wiener, and Assemblymember Rob Bonta. I also want to welcome our friends and family who are joining us across the country. I think we've seen in the chat, there are folks from all across the country. Special welcome to those of you tuning in from Los Angeles, Utah, Ohio, Montana, New York, Virginia, DC. We are just thrilled to have you with us tonight. When we gathered in person for our MLK dinner last night, I never imagined that I'd be speaking to you live from my home tonight. There have been so many waves of despair over this last year. We've experienced unimaginable loss of life from COVID, violence of white supremacy, and generations of trauma. We haven't had the luxury to grieve the way we want to because we are still in the midst of so much ongoing loss. I have been reflecting on some of the toughest moments we and our clients have faced over the last 4 years, and especially in 2020. Each time we faced what seemed like an insurmountable challenge, we turned to you, and you showed up. Sometimes you showed up in your rage and grief. This summer, you filled the streets to speak out against the brutal violence of our policing and criminal legal system. Sometimes you showed up in deep self-reflection. You joined us to learn through our weekly Racial Justice Forum emails and member conversations. You asked tough questions of yourselves and your colleagues about the white supremacy in your government structures, your neighborhoods, your communities, places of work, and even in your own hearts. and you showed up to offer your service. Last year, we won a historic settlement against Caltrans for destroying the personal and medical belongings of our unhoused clients. We had $1.3 million that needed to reach our claimants. In the midst of the pandemic, we didn't know how to reach them. 200 of you showed up to volunteer and process those claims. And in the end, we processed 1,500 claims. And you have shown up knowing that this work takes years. In 2018, we opened the first consumer bail clinic in the country. A dozen law firms and corporate legal departments volunteered their time to understand how bail companies were violating the law. In the process, they have helped discharge over $300,000 in unlawful bail debt that had been stripped out of low-income families of color. Based on their work, we were able to file the class action suit against Bad Boys Bail Company that you just saw in the video. The stories go on. And you showed up as partners, not only to offer charity to those deemed less fortunate, but to follow the lead of our clients, to work in solidarity. Lawrence Mawara helped lead the way. Lawrence is a lead plaintiff in the ICE case. When COVID hit, he was detained at the Yuba County Jail. He suffered lung damage from having fought the California wildfires, and he was at particular risk of COVID complications. From the beginning, his goal was to speak truth to power for all who were detained at Yuba. He walked our team through the experiences inside, picking apart every government falsehood. He worked to organize class members in his dorm and ensure that each one could tell their story and have the opportunity to submit a bail application. And as you saw in the video, he succeeded. So where do we go from here? When I need to center myself, which has been a lot this year, I read Dr. King's speech, The Other America. Dr. King spoke about how it was easier to integrate a lunch counter than it was to fight for genuine equality. The thing I fear, and the thing that I think many of us fear, is that even though we have mobilized against the atrocities of the last 4 years, we will become complacent when it comes to doing the hard day-to-day work of fighting for genuine equality. Things are messy right now. We have a new president, and white supremacists are more emboldened to come out into the streets than I have seen in my lifetime. We so desperately want spaces to grieve and to heal, words that have become grossly politicized. But we have such a long way to go before we can. And it is going to require as much, if not more, work than we have done in the past 4 years. We are going to have to dismantle and abandon the structures and systems that have been so violent for Black, Indigenous, and other communities of color. And even if we continue this work, we may not see the end to white supremacy in our lifetimes. But maybe our children will. So I'm here to ask you to keep showing up. Show up in the numbers that bring us to tears. Show up to follow the lead of those who have been most harmed by the systems we are trying to bring down. They know the path forward. And show up for as long as it takes. The night before Dr. King was killed, he spoke in Memphis, and he said, "We've got to give ourselves to this struggle until the end. Nothing would be more tragic than to stop at this point. We've got to see it through. And when we have our march, you need to be there." We all need to be there. This is our commitment at the Lawyers Committee, to show up, to keep going, and to be there for as long as it takes. It is my hope that you will continue to be there with us.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elisa Della Piana, LCCRSF's legal director. I have the incredible honor to present Lawyers Committee's Visionary Award to Dr. Ibram X. Kendi, best-selling award-winning author, professor, and director and founder of the Center for Anti-Racist Research at Boston University. The Visionary Award is given to individuals who not only carry forward the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr., but who expand and fuel social justice movements through their contributions to envisioning a radical future of liberation. To fix a problem, we first have to see and understand it. At a time when our country has been through a lot, where we have been through a lot, it may be tempting to say, we had an election, we're done. But if we see the problem as Republicans instead of racism, as individual instead of systemic, we will get to the wrong destination. Dr. Kendi is a visionary. He sees that better world where our society is truly equal and we as individuals have the awareness and commitment to be anti-racist. He gives us a concrete path and joy in what's possible. Dr. Kendi brings us a deep understanding of our nation's history, how we got here. He names white supremacy and helps us recognize how it manifests within ourselves and our institutions so that we can take purposeful action to root it out. Kendi's work fuels truth so that there can be hope of future reconciliation. We have to confront the generational violence and hurt perpetrated by our racist systems. It's all around us. Now is the time to build. Now is the time for vision. We have work to do, and especially for those of us who are white, now is the time to listen. Congratulations, Dr. Kendi. We're grateful to have you. Thank you for your critical work and for being with us tonight. And now, to accept his award, I introduce Dr. Ibram X. Kendi.
So I just want to express my thanks for being honored with this Visionary Award. I just want to share my thanks to the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights of the San Francisco Bay Area. I want to share my gratitude to all of its incredibly important supporters, all of its staff, and I'm just honored to join you this evening. And I'm really honored because this sort of title or the name, of this event, Freedom Bound, really speaks to me. And it really speaks to me because the word freedom has really been the word that has guided the history of certainly black folks, really the history of so many folks, because it's been denied even to this day. And I actually think that in this moment, in this time, it's important for us to stretch back to the abolitionist era, because I think the abolitionist era can clarify what we should be doing in this moment to ensure we as a people will be freedom bound. And what I'm referring to is in the decades leading up to the Civil War, there were those who were advocating for immediate emancipation, freedom now, freedom today for black folks. But many Americans in the North and West imagined that immediate emancipation was impossible, was impractical, even feared black people being freed and then running up north and to the west from the south and running almost ramshod over the nation. That indeed it was better, it was more practical, it was safer if we had a more gradual emancipation process. And indeed, the majority of Americans, including Abraham Lincoln, advocated initially in the decades leading up to the Civil War and the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, a more gradual emancipation. And I mention this because a commanding majority of Americans recognize at this very moment that racism exists and that it's a big problem. The question for our time, the question that's going to determine our future, is what are the American people, what are the majority of Americans going to do with that awareness? Similarly, before the Civil War and the lead up to the Civil War, the majority of Americans recognized that slavery was a problem. And certainly even in the South, because let's not forget that the majority of white Southerners did not own slaves. And certainly by 1860, there were 4 million enslaved people and 5 million non-slaveholding, largely poor whites that made up the overwhelming majority of the South. And the majority of whites in the South voted against secession from the Union. And we're beginning to realize that slavery was not only horrible for black folks, that slavery was impoverishing even white folks, in the way many Americans today are realizing that white supremacist domestic terror is not just harming black folks and Latinx folks and Jewish folks and other folks, it's also harming Anglo-Saxon white folks as well. It's also harming white Americans as well. It's also attacking the citadel of the nation in the U.S. Capitol, as white supremacists did on January 6th. So there's this growing awareness today among white Americans that white Americans are facing the collateral damage from racism, from white supremacy. Their votes are being suppressed too. That they're being killed by the police too. That they're being mass incarcerated too. Certainly not at the levels that black and brown people are, but it's, I think more and more people are recognizing that racism is a big problem for us all. And so the question is, what are we going to do about it? And I'm saying this because many Americans today who are aware of racism are advocating for gradual equality. They're advocating for policies that are going to gradually reduce inequity and injustice. And I just wanted to share with you tonight that is no longer, that will not get us freedom bound. That in this moment we need to advocate for immediate equality in the way those advocated for immediate emancipation before the Civil War. They were not crazy, and we know they were not crazy. Today, and those of us who will advocate for immediate equality today who start thinking about what policies can eliminate police violence, eliminate mass incarceration, eliminate voter suppression, eliminate poverty, eliminate housing and food insecurity. What policies can create an equitable and just America? That's how we should be thinking. And that's what we should be advocating for. And I think if we do, then we will be freedom bound in our lifetime. In our lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kendi. Your work and message are powerful. This has been an amazing evening for justice and for civil rights. The Lawyers Committee hopes, as you reflect on all that you've heard this evening, that you will continue texting your donations and giving online, and that you will be inspired to do even more in your own communities. Thank you for joining us and lending your hearts and your minds and your hands to this important work. I look forward to seeing you in person next year back at the Hyatt Regency on February the 10th of 2022. Good night, everybody.